Mike Machuga is an extremely underrated bowler who not only had a solid pro career, but has won many other tournaments as well. He's highly regarded in his hometown of Erie, Pennsylvania, and for good reason. Aside from his achievements in bowling, he's probably best known for his signature move, the Machuga flop, and we were lucky enough to see him do this on a PBA telecast. Machuga was very consistent over the years and made his fair share of PBA telecasts. However, in 2014, he made the decision to retire from the PBA Tour. But what prompted that decision? Why did he feel that was the time to step away? And what happened to Machuga after he left the PBA? Those are all questions I will be answering in today's video. We'll start from the beginning of his career, look at how he broke through and what he's up to now. This is what happened to Mike Machuga. Machuga turned pro in 2001. Prior to that, he'd made quite a lot of noise on the amateur scene, particularly in his hometown, winning pretty much every scratch tournament that was going. For example, he won the Times New Open in 1997, which is billed as Erie's most prestigious bowling tournament. He bowled 2 years at the University of Nebraska and then would try his hand at the PBA in 2001. His first year was a success. He managed to make a title match, but would lose to Walter Ray Williams Jr. But you can forgive him for that loss, because going in as a rookie to face one of the greatest is a pretty tough way to try and win your first title. He took home over $43,000 in 2001. He had a top 5 finish in 02, winning nearly $37,000. In 03, he won just under $49,000 and also made another title match, but lost to Robert Smith. 2004 was his best year yet, as he took home $83,000. He made another title match at the end of 2004, but this time lost to Brian Voss. Although he hadn't won a title yet, he was doing well on the tour. He was gaining experience, making title matches, and putting in solid results. It would be in 2005 that he would break through and win his first PBA title at the Greater Omaha Classic, and after he won, he showed the world the Machuga flop. He beat Bill O'Neill in the title match, and of course Bill O'Neill was still in the early stages of his career, and it would take him a long while to get his first title, and this won't be the last time we talk about O'Neill in this video. So 2005 was a fantastic year for Machuga. He made multiple TV appearances, won his first title, and took home just under $104,000. He would continue to bowl well on the tour, having 2 top 5 finishes in 06, a second place finish in 07 at the Bayer Classic, and then he would win his second title in 08 at the Comedian Championship, where he beat Bill O'Neill once again. He actually run the ladder, beating Sean Rash, Brian Kretzer and Wes Malott on his way to the title match. It went down to the wire and Machuga really pulled it out of the bag. He needed a double in the 10th and put down 2 great shots to win the title. It was more heartbreak for O'Neill, who had quickly earned the title of the best bowler on tour to never win a PBA title, although O'Neill finally won his first at the Comedian Championship the following year. 2009 to 2010 would be another solid season for Machuga, including another title match loss. One highlight from 2009 is that he set 2 PBA scoring records, the record for the highest 32 game total and the highest 40 game total. Both of these records still stand. After this though, things started to go in a bit of a wrong direction for him on the tour. 2011 was by far his worst season, as he took home just $7,000, and according to the PBA website, he didn't play a single event in 2012. Now, part of the reason for this dip could be that Machuga started to change direction in his life. While that direction still involved bowling very heavily, in 2011 he opened up a pro shop, Next Level, so it's certainly possible that took up a lot of his time between 2011 and 2012, which is why he dipped so much in this period. Because then in 2013 he came back and played 21 events and made the match play round 5 times. Although this season was better, in 2014 he played just 2 events and then made the decision to step away from the tour. This is a quote from him: "The format has changed quite a bit and I don't agree with it or what the PBA is doing. It's just not a good economical investment any longer. With the increased travel that the new format requires, where you have to be on the road constantly, as well as reductions in prize money, it was just too difficult to make a living at it. The tour is pretty much for the younger guys now. As for me, I'm back to bowling 3 times a week and running my pro shop." So clearly Machuga wasn't happy with the direction the PBA was going in and felt that both the extensive travel requirements and the reduction in prize funds meant it just wasn't worth it. It was becoming more and more difficult for players to make a living on the tour, and he wasn't the only one to have these feelings. Scott Norton retired from the tour 1 year after Machuga due to extreme fatigue and burnout that came from the amount of travelling he had to do on tour. Mike Fagan also stepped away from the tour around this time. Yes, he did go off to pursue his studies, but it's interesting that several pros were stepping away all in the same period of time. Machuga did play 1 event in 2016 where he cashed and made the match play round. He then had a 3-year break before making a very small comeback to the tour in 2019. He did only play 5 events, but he cashed in 4 of those and made match play twice, taking home $12,000. It is a small sample size, but considering he'd been off the tour for years, this was a good showing from him, and it did show that he still had the potential to be competitive on tour. Who knows what might have happened if he had played an entire season, but these 5 performances were not enough to convince Machuga to return full time. Since then, he's pretty much bowled 1 PBA tournament each year. It seems like a full return is not on the cards, and to be fair, he is now 49, although what that does mean is that when he turns 50 in April of 2026, we could see him bowl some PBA 50 events. Because despite not bowling on the tour, he hasn't given up bowling or lost his ability to win. I spoke earlier about how he won the Times New Open tournament in 1997. Well, he won it again in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and then again in 2025 for the 6th time. This is very, very impressive indeed and shows he's still one hell of a bowler. This makes me think that if he does decide to play the PBA 50, he could end up winning some titles, because clearly he's shown in the last 5-6 years that he's more than capable of winning, and it would be very, very interesting to see what he could achieve on the 50 tour. It's great to see that he didn't leave bowling behind despite leaving the PBA Tour, and it's great to see his pro shop is still running, that he's still bowling and bowling well and winning tournaments. Machuga might be an underrated player, but he did achieve a lot on the PBA Tour, and perhaps if there weren't so many changes to the tour that made him decide to retire, he could have picked up some more titles. And so that will bring us to an end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed this one, and if you have, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to the channel. I hope you've been enjoying these type of videos. I've done a few of these What Happened To, where I look back at some PBA players, look at their careers and find out how they ended and what they are doing now. So if there's any other players that you'd like me to do a What Happened To video for, then please let me know your suggestions in the comment section below. Well, that is going to do it from me for today, and as always, thank you bowling fans, and see you all next time.